All right, so this is part two. All right, put myself down here because last time screwed the video up. So that was actually my first video. But anyway, with no further ado, we're gonna get right into this. If you didn't see the first video, it's got the explanation of what we're doing here. Let's rock.
You haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. Have you ever seen me without this stupid hat on? That's weird.
This quote from the CW's Riverdale became a meme several years ago when watchers pointed out how ridiculous it was. Ironically, although delivered by a male character, it's the epitome of a phenomenon called not like other girls. It's become a constant in modern media, so much so a show riddled with lines like,
"The boring 17-year-old white girl. I'm not special."
can become a well-rated favorite of many. However, I'm not here to bash on writers for lack of originality in writing by relying on tropes. Rather, I'm here to point out how this comes into play in real-world contexts. Women and girls are being shown media that tells a false story, a story saying that the farther you go from typical femininity, the more liked you'll be.
Has nothing to do with that. Like I said before, it's not about getting far away from femininity. You know what I mean? Your femininity is what makes you attractive to the opposite sex. I know that sounds crazy. You know what I mean? It's not about femininity. You know what I mean? It's about relatability. Okay? It's about relatability. You know what I mean? My ex girlfriend, she thought, oh, well, in order to be a good match, you have to be the total opposite. And I disagreed. Like, I enjoyed the fact that, we would go skateboarding together. That was like one of the most awesome things ever. You know what I mean? Because there aren't a lot of female skateboarders around. Around. There are even less than there are now. Back then, when I was like 17, 18. You know what I mean? And so like that was dope that she was actually down with it, and I could teach her how to do tricks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was something we could really bond over. You know what I mean? And it didn't cost anything. We both enjoyed doing it. You know what I mean? It wasn't a date. We were just hanging out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we were also lovers. Like we had a sexual relationship. We were friends. You know what I mean? We could bond over doing things that had nothing to do with, you know, whatever girls are looking for, as far as like spending money on dates and all of this and all of that. No, it had nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? It was just that like, I can trust you as my girlfriend. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like it has nothing to do with like friend zone type stuff. You know what I mean? Like just because we were friends and we could do things like that, we started off as friends and then we became lovers and we could still hang out and do stuff, and you know what I mean? It wasn't like it is today, like I see in all these cliches. So basically what I'm saying is it doesn't have anything to do with getting away from femininity. You know what I mean? Certain little things that girls do that will be perceived as masculine, you know what I mean? Like, dressing like a tomboy. That's cute. You know what I mean? That's cute. You know what I mean? If I ever knew what that word meant, actually, So that's cool, man. You know. So it doesn't have anything to do with getting away from femininity. It's strictly just relatability. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're a construction worker, and there's a female construction worker. You know what I mean? And she's good at doing her job, and you know what I'm saying? She has a nice speaking voice and all of that type of stuff. You're gonna be attracted to her. You know what I mean? Something's probably gonna happen if you guys hit it off. It's just that simple. It has nothing to do with what these movies are talking about. But somehow, some way, young girls have been persuaded into thinking that it's it's being more like a guy that's getting the guy. Nah.
The not like other girls phenomenon can be found everywhere in social media. But today, I'll be discussing how it comes into play in television. This trope comes with several defining traits, but the basics are this: a female main character, whose entire backstory generally consists of their father dying, moving, or both, is praised for their independence as they distance themselves from femininity
So you
or
got
the
a
fear
girl
of
with daddy
fitting into the
issues.
damsel in distress trope.
Oh, let me go back. Got a girl with daddy issues.
Both is praised for their independence as they distance themselves from femininity out of fear of fitting into the damsel in distress trope. The phrase "I'm not like other girls" begs the question, what are other girls like? Usually when a girl says this, they're referring to having supposedly girly feminine traits. The statement itself stems from a warped view of feminism that instead of saying women can do anything, says women can do what men do. Women can dislike pink. Women can like stereotypical male things. Women can just like being one of the boys. Of course, this isn't feminism. This just reinforces the already harmful stereotypes of sweet, dumb girl and strong, intelligent man. When a network idolizes a woman bashing typical feminine features to make themselves seem quirky and says that that's what attracts men, while simultaneously telling them that attracting men is their ultimate goal, they reinforce the internalized misogyny in our culture. However, many of the features that these girls in films see as unique are rather regular. They're defining the simplest traits as anti-feminine, which of course is very damaging.
Guys, go back on your little bicycles and I'll see you with my very large cheese and pizza.
Of course, men are seeing the exact same media women are. They see these shallow, half-baked male love interests
When did you get the boobs?
succeed at winning over girls, and seeing this, they think that telling girls that they're not like other girls is a compliment. They think they're saying that the girl isn't ditzy or catty.
Or it could be a manipulation tactic because they know that these girls want their lives to be like a movie. You know what I mean? Just like I said before, when you look up to something, you idolize something, you want to be like that thing. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, I used to tie a towel around my neck and act like I was Super Mario with a cape on because he could fly. I thought that was dope. You know what I mean? But hey, that's what I'm talking about.
But knowledgeable and strong. They're trying to say that the girl doesn't fit the practically non-existent stereotype that we see in media. However, often unintentionally, this just perpetuates the cycle of, once again, internalized misogyny in both women and men. In media, the strength of female leads is often measured by the masculine traits they exhibit. Clary Frey from the Shadowhunters series is an excellent example of a heroine applauded for her independence when acting tough and fighting, which she excels at despite her obvious disadvantage of being both young and fairly inexperienced. What this is telling female watchers, perhaps on a subliminal level, is that if they don't exhibit masculine traits, or if they instead exhibit highly feminine traits such as liking makeup or being emotional, they are not a strong female. They're being told that men will see them as their equals if they act like men.
Nope. All you gotta do is just be good at something other than being attractive. You know what I mean? You can be attractive as well. You can be the girly girl, but you can also be the scientist or the lawyer. You know what I mean? Or highly skilled technician of something. You know what I mean? Or just skilled at all. Just can do some cool shit with some wires and stuff. You know what I mean? That's all we need. You know what I mean? Someone who doesn't always think that they can't do something because they've never done it before, or it's not their style or something like that, or well, I mean, I understand if something's not your style, but what I'm trying to say is, you know what I mean, there's a lot of girls that, for example, there was this one girl that couldn't play volleyball. She didn't understand that she could actually hit the ball with any strength because she didn't think she could, right? And it held her back in the volleyball game. That's all I'm gonna say.
none of this is to say that there's no more strong female characters in the media. There's still lots of female characters who are shown as super strong while maintaining confidence in their femininity. But for each of those, there's an underdeveloped female love interest in a low-quality rom-com starring Noah Centineo. So, maybe stop making those.
All right, so that is the end of part 2. So far we've talked about how these media publications and films and you know television and people on YouTube and Instagram and you know that's how they get you for real. That's reality TV too, because you can't really trust where these people are coming from. You've never grown up with them. You didn't meet their mom. You know what I mean? Might as well say you wasn't born with them. You know what I mean? So you never really understand the angle that they're coming from. You know what I mean? And you never know if they're being paid to say what they're saying or if they're really saying something that's true. And regardless of either one, we still have to be able to control our demons and understand a civil way of existence. When I say civil, I don't mean the way it is now, where we don't really talk about who we want to be in a civilized conversation. You know what I mean? Without, constantly yelling over each other or something like that. Even in politics, the government, that's the definition of order in a country. But when we see these debates, you know what I mean? They had to cut Trump off. Like he couldn't say anything because he kept talking over the other person. It was Joe Biden. That sort of thing. So with no further ado, we're gonna get into part 2. I'm gonna go ahead and start a new video, and yeah, we're doing this.